Yeah, if we
Sounds
want
good.
to, I
She's
love it.
excited.
I love it. I'm so happy because it is a good time. So it looks like we are live. So hello to all of our viewers. I am Kayleen McCabe, co-hosting as always with my great friend Scott Sheelar, who is the founder of the Construction Education Foundation of Georgia, or SEPCA. So Scott, how are you doing this week?
I am doing great, Kayleen. I wanted to let you know, and this will come as a surprise to you, I was actually in your neck of the woods a few weeks ago. I made it out to the Broadmoor, which I think you told me about at one point, and I was blown away. The NCCER had a strategic planning session out there a couple of weeks ago, and it was kind of a quick trip. I didn't have a ton of time. I think I was there for a couple of nights, but I absolutely love the Broadmoor Resort. That is a gorgeous place. I assume you've been there a few times before.
Many times. It's one of my favorite places to take folks, especially the bar where they flick, the bees on you, and then the lake in the background. It's truly gorgeous. And the history behind it too is interesting. So I'm a big fan of our old structure hotel. So hooray, I'm so happy you got to check out one of it's a tiny Biltmore, very uber tiny.
It is, but it's different because you can actually sleep, in the building, right? The Biltmore is more like a museum. The Broadmoor is kind of a working museum, right? Because it's an operational hotel, and you're right. It's like being in a postcard. You walk out of the back door there where the lake is and the mountains are, and it's just like, wow, this doesn't look real, because I guess it's right at the foot of Pikes Peak, right? Is that the location? It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is, and it looks fake, to be honest. And so
It
unless
does.
you're there, it's hard to take pictures to explain like, oh, the grand scale of it. But I'm so happy we got to experience that. And two, perfect weather. Colorado is having an actual fall, which normally doesn't happen. Like last year, we had snow beginning of September. So you caught great weather. It's not always like
Yes. And all the colors, that really caught me by surprise too. I didn't expect all the, different tree colors and everything. It was just gorgeous. I am already figuring out how I can get back and take my family and spend a little more time there. So I love it. I'm a huge fan.
hey, great, awesome, square state, say hooray. I love it. And really, even as a native, we were surprised. I was surprised of the colors this year because it was just we had an autumn. I don't know, it just doesn't happen. Really, usually the trees turn color and then 2 days later they all blow off and then it snows. So it's like, oh, perfect. Well, speaking of cool trees, I wanted to geek out about my project. It's awesome being able to share with you all of our kind of hobbies. And one of my hobbies is Legos. And I just put together a set that's so cool and I absolutely love it. It's a very tiny bonsai tree.
Oh, neat.
And the thing that makes me laugh on it is the tree is covered in a bunch of frogs. So, I think it's important to keep building even if you can't be in the shop all the time. So, yeah, highly recommended. Lego doesn't even sponsor me. Yeah.
I love that.
It is a very fun build. And, I think it's something important to continue to create all the time, even if, maybe it's through music or food or Legos or construction. But what I love is folks being able to share kind of an artistic side. And that's why I'm really excited to interview our guest this week, because LeAnn Wilson is with the organization ACTE, and that's the Association of Career and Technical Educators. Those educators are the ones sort of inspiring the next generation and students to build. So, and Scott, we've interviewed LeAnn before, and I'm excited that you're going to be hanging out because we have, I think, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Definitely. Yes. We talked with LeAnn. It's probably been about a year ago now. And of course, SEPCA here in Georgia, we work very closely with the GACTE, which is the state chapter of ACTE. And we work with Jody Reeves, who is our executive director here in Georgia. And, it just reminds me of all the work that SEPCA does. It's always in partnership with other great organizations, right? And GACTE and ACTE are so important because they bring the educators together and they support the educators. And you're right, that's really where it starts. That's how we connect with young people and get them excited about the skilled trades. So yeah, so excited to visit with LeAnn today. I'll be here. I'm going to sit back and listen, and then I'll be back on the end of the program to share any additional thoughts that I have.
That is excellent. And yes, so all of our viewers, so if you have any questions, throughout the show, feel free to type them in because Scott is around to help answer any questions. So Scott, we'll see you in a bit after I chat with LeAnn.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Scott. And hi, LeAnn, how's it going?
I'm very excited to be with you today.
I am too. Thank you so much for joining me for lunch again. It has been about a year since we were able to chat with you last. And I'm thrilled because I think the information that you're going to provide today is going to be, again, really valuable for our fans. So just as a reminder, you are with ACTE, and that's the Association for Career and Technical Educators. And you folks really represent thousands of career and technical educators, not only with resources, but professional development, because obviously things in the industry are continuously changing. How do you advocate for tech ed and help teachers and students kind of partner up and reach each other?
Sure. Well, we're very excited to be able to support CTE professionals across the country. Certainly, data tells us we have more than 200,000 CTE professionals across the nation. And we are very fortunate as an organization to have a wonderful public policy team that is constantly advocating on behalf of those CTE professionals and CTE as a whole, speaking to members of Congress, policymakers, making sure that we're keeping track of all any bills that are impacting CTE. Also, as you mentioned, we provide great professional development, lots of tools and resources to equip CTE teachers, making sure that they are providing high quality CTE programs to make sure their students' success.
It's fantastic because it is that support system too. And you're teaching teenagers, sometimes can be challenging in industry. So it's nice to have sort of that community that ACTE provides. So you talk about kind of the different areas of support. So there's 16 career clusters, which lead to dozens of different pathways. I mean, really, it branches out all over the place. What are some of those careers, and how can students learn more about the pathway to that, and then also more technical education in the careers?
Yeah, sure. I would probably mention the most relevant of those career clusters are really perhaps architecture and construction, manufacturing, STEM, of course, transportation, distribution and logistics for this particular audience. Just making sure that students are talking to their school counselors, just making sure that they're informed about their career options, and making sure that they enroll in those CTE programs at their high schools, and hopefully now even down into the middle school level where they're being offered, and making sure that they're participating in learning activities like work-based learning, where they get experience like right on the job. And also participating in those ever important CTSOs, those career and technical student organizations such as Skills USA.
I love it. All right, so let's pretend real quick I'm a student. What is the website that we've been able to view so folks can go check it out?
Yeah, so it's acteonline.org. And there's plenty of resources for everybody up there. Student achievement in high school, obviously content uploads, CTE resources for parents, for students, and definitely tons of resources for CTE professionals.
Oh, it is. It's a fantastic website, and really with facts. It's not just speculation anymore. You're talking about the numbers of need, but then also kind of the success rates, which we'll talk about in a moment. But going back to the different types of classes that are considered CTE, I think a lot of folks might be surprised on some of those classes that are out there. So can you give me a few examples of ones that folks might be surprised are CTE programs or classes?
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think we have this label of career and technical education, but parents and students aren't really sure what that means. Like they're surprised to say, oh my gosh, I did take a CTE class. I just didn't know it was housed under that CTE heading necessarily. So IT and computer networking, graphic design, finance, even items like drone operation, cybersecurity, which is so important to the nation these days. And really, like I said, you hit on it. It's just parents and students perhaps don't know the label of career and technical education, but they very well may have taken a CTE program and didn't even know that it was considered CTE.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point with the drones, because that's really, I'm seeing, being a huge tool in, especially in construction, to get that bird's eye view. So yeah, a drone class is part of a career and technical programs. That education behind it is fantastic. Okay, so kind of touched on it before. So let's talk about success, because this is something that I think a lot of parents maybe don't know. Because for a long time, going into like the construction program was for the other kids, or maybe ones that weren't super focused on becoming a doctor. But the organization, ACTE, found that 94% of students concentrating in CTE graduated from high school. And that's 9% higher than the overall US graduation rate. And so why do you think a student enrolled in a CTE program has such success with the graduation?
Well, really, we're very excited about the CTE data because it proves what a lot of us already know and advocate on behalf of. It's really that research that shows 81% of high school student dropouts say those relevant real world opportunities like CTE would have kept them in school. So it's really just that exposure again. I mean, the key is to keeping many students engaged in something they're interested in and something that will show them a clear path and connection to their future, which is what CTE does.
It does. And oh my gosh, because you're making it relevant. And it is cool. You can go learn how to cook and be a chef, but at the same time you're doing fractions. We snuck math in there, like zucchinis and brownies.
Exactly.
And it is because you're engaged. And I did not really understand the Pythagorean theorem until I framed the wall for the first time. And I was like, oh, now it's applicable. Now I can see how I will use this in real life. It's just not theory. And so CTE provides, well, it's also their life skills, right? Like it really is all over the place. Learn how to change a tire because you're going to drive a car. So it's awesome to see that it's also translating into success throughout the rest of the school. But that's not the only part. We have students that are graduating at a higher rate, but then also graduates with associate's degrees in CTE fields can earn up to $10,000 more per year than those in associate's degrees in other fields. What are the hot jobs right now? Like, you're in the know. Where should we be educated?
Well, and I know you're going to be excited about this. Obviously, construction is very hot right now. Advanced manufacturing, huge demand right now. Obviously, healthcare, given COVID, certainly transportation and logistics, especially now with those supply chain issues and those issues brought on by the pandemic. IT is growing very quickly with even more people working remotely and relying on technology and just different platforms just to, provide solutions or education in different ways. So the access has been a huge issue. So yeah, just a lot of wonderful CTE fields that are getting a lot of attention right now.
It is, and in a positive way. We've been complaining or talking about the labor shortage because so many people are retiring and we're going to have a shortage there. But recently with the infrastructure bill being passed, it's now highlighting again the absolute critical need for all of these essential workers in construction. I love being one of them. Same with healthcare and food. Sometimes I injure myself, so we still need doctors and nurses. So with that being said, 80% of manufacturers were facing a shortage prior to the infrastructure bill being passed. And the infrastructure bill is really going to help, a lot of construction projects. So there are jobs for students and viable options for a long-lasting career after this. The ones you talked about, I absolutely love. And again, would you please remind our viewers on the website, your website, that they can go to start kind of exploring or answer some questions?
Sure, acteonline.org. And just wanted to reiterate that there are jobs available for students who have the right skills and credentials. Those employers are hungry for workers right now that have those matching skills for what they need. And good jobs still often require some type of post-secondary credential, but that could be a certificate, a license, an industry certification. So again, there are tons of options out there. And again, the employers are hungry for CTE. Yes.
You are right. They're so hungry. And that's a great point, because the students can get a lot of credentialing and certificates, stuff like your OSHA 10. That's really valuable. But this continuing education, after you graduate high school, it's not over. You're going to have to keep learning. But in Georgia specifically, 54% of jobs require skills training, which means, obviously education after high school, but not necessarily a 4-year degree. And so can you name off again some of the industries in Georgia where CTE programs can close this skills gap that we're still talking about?
Sure. So we did do some research on Georgia. And right now, the top in-demand careers are computer network support specialists, dental hygienists, respiratory therapists, telecom equipment installers and repairers, industrial machinery mechanics, plumbers, pipe fitters, steam fitters, supervisors or transportation and material moving. So a lot of in-demand careers right now in Georgia.
Huge. And that sounds like such a nice variety, go into a little bit of IT and then you might drive a truck later that's automated or whatever. It's fantastic that there's such variety and such demand, because it really gives students the opportunity to find the right fit to, really what is the best place for you. And, keeping students engaged is kind of difficult, and we want to provide for them a lot of professional development to encourage them to stay in the workforce. What are some online resources available to not only students, but educational professionals to advance their learning and then also promote CTE education?
Sure. So on acteonline.org, there are plenty of professional development opportunities. Obviously, with once COVID happened, we really ramped up our webinars, our CTE Learn portal, which is our online learning portal for CTE professionals with virtual CTE courses, industry credit courses. So tons available there. But again, on our website for CTE professionals, just go to that professional development link and there is a ton. We really have something for everyone. So we're real excited to make sure that we're playing a role in advancing and promoting CTE education.
It's fantastic. And I love it because it's such, first of all, I think the members of ACTE are the most fun and just great to hang out with. But being a part of this community is so valuable, because a lot of time you're showing best practices and really with sharing the creativity that we had to come up with the last year on how do you teach career and technical careers online. And so there's been a lot of innovation and a lot of great practices shared. So I highly suggest for all of our viewers, especially those teachers and educators out there, please check out the website because it's awesome. But in addition to the website, you do actually still have conferences going on, and I'm super excited. Your background has kind of said it all. I absolutely love the Mardi Gras theme. But coming up in a few weeks, ACTE CareerTech Vision 2021, it's going to be a hybrid conference with sessions in person in New Orleans and then also online. And so this conference is going to be December 1st through the 4th. And how can people find out more information and then sign up?
Well, we're also excited you'll be there, Kayleen. So we're excited. We're excited to see you there. Yeah, for sure. Please go to careertechvision.com. You can register. We're going to have about 200 sessions in person, 200 sessions virtually. So 400 sessions for you to choose from. So there really is something for everybody. Again, it's December 1st through 4th there in New Orleans or virtually if you're unable to make it. But plenty of, it's just chock full of great content for CTE teachers, administrators, school counselors, business and industry professionals. We have a lot coming from state CTE agencies. So really, there is just something for everyone, and we hope to see you there.
Yes, agreed. I will be there too. So I can't wait to see everyone. I'll have a booth actually. So come on by because I have fake mustaches and temporary tattoos, like a true professional.
I love that.
I'm so excited too, because again, just seeing everybody and then keep the ball rolling and the momentum behind the industry, which is fantastic. And so, LeAnn, as always, I'm so happy you're able to join us for lunch today. And I'm excited to bring Scott back in because like he said, he does work a lot with ACTE Georgia. So it is a nice partnership. And also for all of our viewers, there are chapters in every state. And so if you aren't a part of that yet, please go check it out and connect. So Scott, welcome back. What were your thoughts with today's lunch?
Thank you, Kayleen, and thank you, LeAnn, for joining us today. It was good to see you again. And, you know, I mentioned this in our opening comments. We do a lot with Jody Reeves here in Georgia. She's such a good partner. And, you know, one of the things we do together is we keep an eye on legislation, you know, that we see not so much at the federal level. I mean, we support where we can, but especially at the state level. And one of the things we were able to do here in Georgia in partnership with GACTE is get additional funding for our construction teachers, right? The construction teachers who take that extra step and get their program industry certified, or they're doing a really good job with work-based learning. We were able to get some incentive money for teachers like that. So that's the sort of thing that, you know, that we can only do together, you know, through partnerships with organizations like ACTE and GACTE. I will mention one thing. I thought it was interesting, LeAnn, when you talked about how no one really knows what career and technical education means. And that's something, you know, I've been at this for 23 years. And usually when people are stumped by career and tech ed, I'll say, you know, vocational education, and they immediately know what that means. And I know vocational fell out of favor, you know, many years ago, but it's still a very descriptive, you know, word to describe what we do. And it seems to help people understand in very real terms what this is. This is about preparing people for careers and preparing people for vocations, even though that's maybe a dirty word now, but it seems to be the word that gets people's attention and helps them understand what we're doing. And to bring it back to construction, sometimes we'll say, hey, we're bringing shop class back. Again, I know shop class is something that fell out of favor many decades ago, probably, but when you say it, people, you know, they know what it means. And so that's part of our approach in helping to communicate, you know, the work that we're doing here in Georgia.
It is absolutely fantastic to see, you know, continuing that. Oh, it is a lingo shift, but you're right, Scott. It is explaining, okay, it's the same thing. Shop class is fun and also creating as well. And so I do love that if folks have more information or questions, they can go to cefca.org, the website we just brought up, to find out more information, especially in Georgia, because you all have some great programs continuing to go on and always something very interesting and innovative. And then for the rest of our viewers as well, please check out CareerTechVision.com for the conference coming up in December, and also ACTE Online, especially all of our educators. It's a tremendous resource hub. And so any last thoughts from LeAnn or Scott?
Well, I would just quickly add that our country needs career and technical education. So we're preparing tomorrow's workforce. So please support CTE.
I love it. And I want it as a bumper sticker or a badge that I'll wear as a button. And so, yes, we're going to, Scott, what about you? Any last thoughts?
Well, I was going to lift one thing up that I read that you'll appreciate, Kayleen. I didn't realize this, but right now in the United States, Facebook, and actually I take that back, it's not in the US, it's worldwide. Facebook is building 48 data centers right now across the world, 48 different data centers. That's a big deal because those data centers are huge projects. They're multi-billion-dollar projects. And it's important to us because we have a Facebook data center being built here just outside of Atlanta. And they need workers. They need people to help build those data centers, and not only build the data centers, but then maintain them and operate them. And that's just one technology company building data centers, 48. Think about all the different technology companies like Microsoft and Google and Amazon and all these companies that have a need for data centers. And you realize, you know, there's a lot of construction going on, which means there's a lot of opportunity for people in our industry to make, to not just make great money, but build a really cool career and a cool lifestyle for themselves. So I wanted to lift that up as a headline that I read this morning.
I love it. And I have had the opportunity to tour one of the Facebook data centers. It melted my mind, to say the least. The amount of technology, and then also safety, and you're in a protective suit, because really I'm the dirtiest, grossest thing in there. The construction is so clean and so safe, and the technology being employed is very interesting. I think it'd be a great time to work with that. So thank you for mentioning that, Scott, because yes, the industry is continuing to evolve, and the cool careers outside of it are absolutely fantastic. So LeAnn and Scott,
real quick, that's a good sort of show topic idea, I think, for a future episode, is maybe we could do a virtual tour of a data center as it's being built, like we did. Remember, we did the tour of Vogtle and the power plant, the nuclear power plant here in Georgia. Maybe we could line something up around a data center. So let's check into that.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's cool. The cooling system alone, I come out of power tools, fine. Computers get hot, whatever. This place is so air controlled, temper. It's just, yes. So please, I think that'd be a great lunchtime show. So love it. Putting it in the Palm Pilot. And LeAnn, thank you so much for joining us again for lunch. Cannot wait to see you in a few weeks. I hope everyone checks out the websites for great information. And Scott, again, wonderful to see you for lunch. It's been a few weeks. So for all of our fans, we will see you in the future time for lunch again. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
Sounds good. Thank you, Kayleen.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye, friends.